Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I create 3D graphics or images or designs using Blender. Now a lot of you guys have been asking me, hey Cole, how do you create these vocal multi-track images? They look so good, how do you create them, what software do you use, etc. So here I'm in Blender, I think this latest version so far, and I'm going to be showing you, okay? This essentially is a 3D program, and yeah, this video is essentially kind of not so much of a beginner's tutorial guide, but more of like a beginner's overview. If you guys want to see more videos just like this where I do like a beginner series exactly showing you step-by-step guide on how to use this program, everything about it, I will definitely be able to do that as well. So let me know in the comments, okay? Without further ado, let's get started, okay? So in this program, essentially we can create designs, we can create, basically it's a 3D modeling program. We can also do animation, we can also do shading, texturing, rendering, compositing, and all that type of stuff. Anything you want to create 3D wise, you can create it, okay? So what I do for when I create my vocal multi-track images, what I do is create a backdrop and then I add some lights and then just use materials or create certain materials for those designs there. So what I'm going to do is just kind of highlight everything, press A and just delete everything like that, okay? So this is like an empty plane in a sense. We use, okay, of course it's a 3D project or 3D application, so we're using these three axes, the X, Y, Z, okay? Okay. So the first thing I usually do when I open up Blender is I press Shift A to open up a mesh, and when I open up a mesh I tend to add like a plane, and this plane is essentially, you can see the dimensions here, you can see other things here. I do recommend watching other videos on Blender if you kind of want to gain an understanding, like an in-depth understanding of how Blender works. I think if you can kind of do that, but if you guys, as I said before, if you guys really want to see me do like a beginner's breakdown, I'll definitely do that. But essentially what I usually do to begin with, I insert a plane, okay? And then what I do is I extrude, I go into edit mode, and then after I go to this section here, edge select, and then I press E and then press Z to extrude it onto the, I think the Z axis, I believe. Okay, so then it's like a backdrop here, okay? I'm going to bring in a camera as well, so I'm going to press Shift A, not Shift A, I'm going to go to press Tab to kind of switch to either edit mode or object mode. So essentially what I'm doing is bringing in the camera. So I'm going to bring Shift A, I'm going to bring in the camera right here. Okay, so the camera is right there, and this camera it will allow us to actually take photographs in a sense of the thing. Just gonna move it out. Okay, so then I'm gonna kind of change the resolution of the camera because my vocal multi-track video images it's in a square looking format. Okay, so I think it's the dimensions. I think I changed it here, so I'm gonna change it to 2000 by 2000 pixels, or usually I do 3000 by 3000 pixels, but anything that's a square, so a 1-to-1 ratio is essentially what you want. Okay. So you can kind of see it's a bit off here. Let's change make it to 90 degrees. Change it to 0. Oops. Change this to 90 so that it's actually centered, okay? I'm going to bring down, okay, so I'm going to bring down the camera as well. About here, okay? I'm going to make this larger, this plane larger, okay? So make it larger. I'm just going to press S and then kind of just scroll up, okay? So that's that there. I need to make it larger again. So I'm gonna make it larger, but on this axis here, cool. So if I go in this basically, you can see here, if I actually go into this mode here or here, these are the kind of the shading. So these are viewport shading. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'm just gonna make it. I'm gonna zoom in with the camera. So I'm gonna go to the X one. Nope. Yeah, X, and kind of zoom in like that. Okay. So this is gonna be, this square bit here is gonna be the view that I'm actually viewing things at. Okay. And okay, so that's that there. Right off the bat, I noticed that there's this horizontal line here because we're looking at it from face on, right? So I don't want to be able to see that there. I want to kind of make it curved, and that's how you kind of see a lot of my things. I do that. So I'm going to select the plane itself, and then press edit mode. Select this line here. Press Control B, and then just drag it up or down like that, and then use the scroll wheel on the mouse to kind of give it more. I think, lines, vertices, edges, I don't know what exactly it is. I'm just going to make it kind of smooth out like that. And then if you go back there, you can see it kind of smooths out, but we're going to press right click, shade smooth. So you can see it's more of a smooth backdrop here, okay? That's one of the first steps I do to make this backdrop, okay? Then I add like a material to it, okay? So if you see the other ones, let's say we want to give it like an orange material. So in order to do that first, we kind of need to add some lights because we can't add some materials already, but we're going to add some lights to begin with, okay? We're going to kind of go in. Also, if you're thinking, how am I going to this camera view? I'm pressing 0 on my keypad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is press Shift A, light. I'm going to bring in a area light, so you can see it's there at the bottom. I'm going to bring it up to the top by holding G, then Z, then bring it all the way to the top. Then increase that light size, okay? And then just press, and then after if we want to see how the light actually performs in the 3D program, we're gonna go to, we can go to this view here. Okay, right now we're in EV mode. We'll switch over to cycles a bit later on. Let's change the sampling. Just like this, okay? So now you can see the strength of this light is not that bright, okay? So to change the brightness of the light, we press this button here, and then after we can change the power of the light. So I'm gonna change it to 1000 watts. You see now it's brightened up, and we can change the color of the light as well. You see that how cool that is, but we're gonna revert that, just make it white, okay? Now we can actually select this backdrop here, and then we can change the color of the backdrop itself. So we're gonna press this button here, material properties. We're gonna create a new material. We're gonna call this backdrop. Okay, now we can change the color of the backdrop, change the material type and whatnot. Let's kind of press this button here so we can get rid of all those overlays. Actually, let's leave it so that you can see. So we can change the base color of the backdrop, so we can see that this. Let's give it that purple look. I like that. Okay, and you can see the light, how the light source is actually interfering, not interfering, but affecting the thing. So if I was to reduce the power of the light source, you can see it gets dark, it gets brighter, because the white of the color of the light, of course, is white. So it's going to be given white mixed a bit with purple here. You kind of see what's going on there. Okie dokie. So if we go back to the material, click on the backdrop itself, press this material button here, we can make it more metallic, you know, or we can decrease the roughness to make it more shiny, add more metallicness. You can see, look at this, you can see that the light is actually being reflected on the top there. That's kind of cool, and you can see the color of the light as well. We can also increase the roughness to make it more rough, or make it less reflective. That's a better word. And we can also increase the transmission to make it more, in a sense, glossy and all that type of stuff there. Okay, so essentially I'm gonna make it just normal, just make it kind of rough in a sense, decrease the transmission and decrease the metallicness as well. I'll just actually make it centered to that. Cool. Let's say we want to go for that purple look there. What I usually tend to do when I'm making my vocal multi-track images is that I like to use different styles of colors, you know, different type of combination of colors. You know, do you know, like for example, if you use like what colors go well with purple, with a purple background? You can use something bright like yellow. Yellow and purple kind of works well. If you can use yellow and red, yellow and black, this color contrast basically. Okay, so let's say I've made this already and I'm okay with the background. I can always change it afterwards. The next thing I'm going to make is actually the letters, the numbers itself. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in, press Shift A to bring in text. Okay, then you see the text comes up here, and then I'm going to press R, and then press X, and then press 90. Then after, it kind of rotates it on this axis there. Let's change it back up so we can select the text again, change the rotation to 90 degrees on the Z axis. Okay, so then I'm going to go into the camera view and bring in this text. I'm going to change this text, go to the text for this object data properties thing here, and then after where it says horizontal alignment, I'm going to make it center. Okay, then what I usually do is enter some sort of text, usually, because if it's a vocal multi-track, I'm going to edit whatever the number is. Okay, let's say it is vocal multi-track 43, so I'm going to kind of go back and then enter 43. So to go into edit mode, you press tab. Okay, 43, then after I can press G and then just move it anywhere I want. I can press S and then scale it as large as I want it to be scaled. So I'm going to kind of just bring it into the center by pressing G and then Z, because the Z axis is the vertical line, up or down. Then kind of bring it into the middle and then kind of just press S, then extruding it out, or not extruding, but scaling it. Press G then Z, kind of lock it onto just this axis. Then I'm going to make it smaller, like that. Okay, like that. Okay, if I want to change the font, I can also do that as well. But you can see right now it's just like a flat plane. It's like there's no thickness to it. Well, I'm going to add some thickness to it right now. We're also going to change the color shortly, but we'll add some thickness to it by pressing geometry and extrude, and then you kind of see that it brings some thickness to it. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Okay. I'm gonna also add another light, because you can kind of see that, hey, the light source is only from the top, and usually in 3D, even in general photography, you tend to want like a 3-point lighting setup. You want like a key light. You want like there's different type of lights. Not too sure on specific names. I'll do my research and come back. Anyway, you want like a 3-point light setup, or at least 2 lights, okay, to kind of to eliminate these shadows. So I'm gonna kind of duplicate this light at the top here and show you how to do that. Okay, so essentially, also bear in mind you can also change the format on the camera. Right now it's a 50mm camera lens, and you can see that you can also change the units, the focal length and whatnot, as if you're simulating reality. Okay, you can do all of that stuff in this program. So I'm gonna press this light here, press Shift D, and you can see I've already duplicated it, and then we're gonna kind of go into the X-axis, and just drag it here. Press GZ on the Z-axis to bring it down. Then press R, and then let's say is it R then Y on the Y-axis. I'm gonna rotate it this way. So basically, this thing it shows you where the source is being pointed at. Okay, so now we've got a 2-point lighting setup. Now you can see there's more light over here. Fantastic, cool. Okay, then I'm gonna kind of bring it down actually on the Z-axis, and just bring it backwards. And so I can also change the color of this light here. I'm gonna keep it white for now because I think I want more of that white light there. And also I'm gonna bring in one more light afterwards, but for now I'm just gonna keep it as it is and just remove this overlay of the overlays of the lights and the outlines and the gizmos. So oops, okay, this button there. Cool. So now we've got our color of the text. Well, not color of text, but we've got our text. I'm gonna change the color of the text now. I don't really like this color. In fact, let's change the font first, then we can change whatever we want to do. Okay, so if you want to go to fonts, change the font here. And just press font here, and you select the fonts that you kind of want to use. Okay, so let's say I want to use let's choose a font that we want to use, any type of font. Let's say we want to use that font there. It looks a bit funny. Let's not use that font, it looks too funny. Oh yeah, it looks too funny. Let's just use this. Nope, I don't like that font. Oh, why do I have to be so picky? Anyway, let's use this. Okay, let's use this font for now. Okay, I can see how it can work. I'm gonna bring the font up again, make it smaller as well by pressing S, then shifting it, and then you can just make it centerish, wherever you want it to be. You can also rotate the font as well, pressing this button here, X-axis, Y-axis, and then Z-axis. You tend to see that I like to kind of play around with a lot of things, especially when I do my designs. Okay, so let's say that we've got that now. Oops, let's just bring it up a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, so now what I could do is add some bevel. Bevel is basically this, to make it more roundish. You know, I like to add that look. I don't like it to look so plain like this. So if I add some bevel, I'm just gonna add a bit. Let's say add 0.1 meters. Oh no, can I even add that? Just add the 0.5 meters. Oh, okay, no, that's too much. Okay, so let's add 0.05. Just a bit. Or no, let's add 0.15. 0. Yeah, that's fine. I like that there. Cool. So now we've selected the font itself, we can change the color. So we'll go to this material properties here. We're gonna add new color. So we're gonna add this, let's say text. Or yeah, let's call it text because essentially it's text. Okay. So what color do you want it to make it? What color do you want to make it? Let's see. Let's experiment with different colors. What works well here? What works well? Orange is not too bad. I think with purple, you can't go wrong with at least these colors here. I think you can use any color, but I'm gonna go for more of a yellow type of look. Let's go for this one here. I like this one here. Okay, so now you can see that it's looking like this. We can change the material. We can make it more metallic like this. We can make the roughness small, and it gives it more of this flavor. And now let me kind of show you the other view. Okay, render engines. So right now we're in the render engine of Eevee. If I change it to cycles, which is the most realistic one, it will give you more photorealistic looking images, basically. It will look much better. But of course, with your computer, the rendering time, it really depends on your computer graphics. If you have a GPU, better it is. Okay, so let's say we want it to be less metallic. We'll make it look more shiny like that because we kind of reduce the roughness, and you can see the kind of reflectiveness of the light itself. We can also do roughness, increase the roughness, make it less reflective and less shiny in a sense. I'm gonna bring it back to what's this mode? Eevee for this time being, and after Eevee is basically another render engine. It's not similar to Cycles, but Cycles is better for photorealistic, and that's what I usually do. I render things in Cycles, and then that's the photo that's achieved, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's say we have the font here or the text here and we like it, right? What we're gonna do now, let's add some more elements to this image. It's looking a bit dryish in a sense. Okay, so what I like to do sometimes is just add some basic things. For example, I like to add some wires. I like to add let's add like a glass table in a sense. Let's make a table. So we're gonna bring it in Shift A. We're gonna bring in a cube. Let's bring in a cube. Okay, so this is a cube. It's just huge right now, so we're gonna reduce the size and then reduce it like that. I'm gonna bring it to the top, GZ. And then what we're gonna do is gonna bring this text and bring it up as well. We're gonna basically make like a stand. Okay, so now this cube here is at the bottom here. So we're gonna make it glass and make it transparent. Okay, but for now let's kind of extrude it, or not extrude it, but size it up. Press S, Y. It's kind of press S then Y, and after it kind of brings it out this way. Press 0 to go back into the camera view. Looks like that. Cool. Okay. Then what we could also do is bring up another one by pressing Shift D on that cube there. GZ. Wrong one. So yeah, Shift Z on that. Nope, not on the plane. On the cube. Shift D, and then bring up as well. We can also do Shift. Basically, what I'm doing is make this one smaller here, and I'm gonna make it wider. This cube here on the. Just like this. Make it like a tabletop. Okay. So basically, we can create certain things with with certain things like this. So that's that there. So essentially, what I'm doing here is I'm creating certain shapes to kind of replicate certain things in reality, I guess. So I'm gonna kind of go back into this cube here and bring it down and bring it on top, so it looks like a table. You see, it looks like a table now, and I can even make it have legs. Okay, so now let's actually give this some. Yeah, let's make that one. Should we make it smaller? Yeah, I think let's make that one smaller, and then let's actually make it bigger. Make sure we set the cube. Let's make it bigger so we can actually bring it to the ground, more to the ground. I think that's fine for now. See, looks like that. Okay, so what we could do now is apply some finishing touches. So let's say we want to give this tabletop like let's give it a new material, tabletop, and then let's say we want to give it a metallic finish. No, a more of a glossy type of look. So we're gonna bring up the transmission, bring down the metallicness, I guess, bring down the roughness. And you kind of see it's reflecting. So if we go back to the EV, no, not EV, but if we go to the cycles look, we can see that this is now reflective. Okay, we can also apply the same thing on this one here. So we can go to press this button here, tabletop. So now these two things are now reflective, and that's kind of cool. You see, it's actually reflective. Okay, and we can also make it less reflective by adding some metallicness to it, so it looks more metallic. But I'm going to reduce the metallicness there and just make it more like this. Okay, and then we can also add some other things as well. So I'm going to go back into EV render mode, render engine, and you can kind of see it looks like that because EV is not. Yeah, it's just a different render option. Okay, we're going to put the ambient occlusion, bloom, screen space reflections, motion blur, and whatnot. So now, if we were to actually go back into cycles, I think that mainly affects EV, but yeah, let's go back into EV actually. Okay, so let's go and take off this bloom, just enable ambient occlusion though. Okay, so that's one of the things I can kind of do. Let's bring this down actually. Let's increase this in size. No, let's bring this down, the actual 43 itself. Let's make it touch the table. So something like that there. And then what I could also add as well, I can add other things as well. I can even make sure this table here, this tabletop here, has like a bevel to it. So I'm in edit mode right now. Yeah, I'm in edit mode. Let me put this overlay on. So now I've selected the whole table itself, and I'm gonna press Control B. And after I'm gonna give it like a just drag in or out, so you can kind of give some cool looking geometry shapes. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of give it like a bit of a bevel here. So some tables are not all the way. Some tables are not. Actually, let's do that again. I don't like how it looks there. Okay, so it's back to normal, and then just a little bit. I just want it to be beveled a little bit. Now you can see the corners and what it's doing to the corners. If it was like that, bring in more to make it more rounded. But the more geometry you add, the more it takes to render, and it's always best to use less, I guess. Anyway, so let's kind of do that anyway. Let's make it a bit more rounded like that. Then shade smooth, I guess. And then you can see it's rounded, like it's actually kind of a smooth table. That looks kind of cool. Okay, let's say we wanted to give this table some legs. Okay, and what I tend to do is make this smaller here, like that. Okay, and I'm gonna bring it to the top here. Control GZ, just bring it up a bit, Then I'm gonna make another. I could actually duplicate this, but I'm gonna make a cylinder. I'm gonna import a cylinder. So Shift A, mesh, cylinder, and then just decrease that size. Okay, I'm gonna add. Let's go into this view here so we can actually see where this is a wireframe view, so we can see where this stuff has been added to in a sense. So I'm gonna press Controls, GZ. Actually, we can go into one of these views. I'm using my keypad right now, just seeing where I can. No, I'll just do it like this. Actually, I'll come out of this view as well. Yeah, let's go into this view here. Actually, no, probably be best. Okay, let's just go into this view first. Bring it up there. Oop, I don't know where I am. Okay, then after I'm gonna bring the other one. Control Y. This axis there. So what I could do rather is just duplicate this by pressing Shift D, and then just dragging it all the way down here. But of course, there's an easier way to do it using like a mirror modifier. Okay, so now that's like that. I'm gonna kind of make sure that just select everything actually, including these two legs, and then press GZ, bring it down so it actually touches the floor a bit, and then we're gonna make sure this one's slightly bigger. So I'm gonna shift this up. Just like that. And these ones here, I'm gonna make it also bigger. I don't mind if it's going through the floor. But essentially, I want to kind of shade smooth these, change the color of these things here. Pressing this color here, new, call it table legs. And then table legs, let's change the color of that. Let's make it like a brownish type of color. Yeah, like a brownish type of color. Make it more rough. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Apply this one there as well. Okay, so now if we look at that as a whole, it looks like that. Okay, then after we can go back into this mode here, it looks like that. And if we go back into cycles mode, take this off there, it's looking like that. It looks a bit weird because this is of course transparent. If you actually look at it, it's transparent, so we can see the table legs actually seeping through, and that's not really giving, it's not looking too great. So we could also make that orange color, and we can also make it even transparent ourselves, you know. So take away the roughness, give it a color, like a transparent color, something like that, or whatever you want it to be like. Okay, so that's something interesting that you could do. You can also change the color of this, and let's change it to different colors, just kind of experiment with it, and just show you that hey, possibilities are endless, really and truly. You know, it's really like you can do as much things as you want. Let's make it more metallic and take away. Sometimes I like this shiny look here. It looks like gold and cool. Okay. Another thing. Let's say, for example, we want to add some curves or some sort of curvature or whatnot. Let's say we want to add like a Bezier curve or whatnot. Where is this thing? Let's go into this mode here. So this curve here, sometimes I like to add like loops. So I'll go back into this bit here. Let's say round mode. So it makes it round like this, right? That's like, and then I can go to the material. Let's give it like a text type material, okay? And then I'm gonna kind of go into edit mode and kind of just play with these curves here, and just literally do something like this, okay? And then let's bring this way, okay? And let's actually extend this bit here, so it goes back into edit mode. Bring that bit up, and let's make it go through. Yeah, this is looking cool. Hold on, let's make it go through the letter 4. Okay, let's bring this whole thing up. Bring it through, just adjusting it slightly. Okay, then now if we go back into let's just bring it over here, and let's duplicate that by pressing Shift D, duplicating that, and just adjust the rotation, I guess. Something like that. Okay, then now if we go back into this render mode, we can see that we have some cool looking tubes here. Press shade smooth as well, or whatever you want to do, but I'm going to delete this one here. Okay, and after this one here, I can change the material itself, give it like a tabletop look, make it more transparent, and do all these little random things that make it look weird and different. Okay, so essentially that is this video in a nutshell. It's just basically kind of an overview to Blender itself and how I usually use it for my type of image production or image designs and 3D designs. I'll definitely be doing more videos in the future showing you guys more specifics, beginner breakdown, all that type of stuff there. But this is kind of wanted to show you. I've done a lot of videos, not a lot of videos, but I've done some videos before where I actually spoke a bit about Blender and whatnot. I'm not so experienced with 3D designs and 3D graphics, but from what I've known so far, I believe I can teach you guys something. And yeah, why not gain some of the information here? So yeah, I'm definitely doing some more designs and whatnot. If there's something that you guys want me to create or whatnot, let me know. Comment down in the comments below. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.